Good morning นะครับ everyone. On the last class นะครับ we talk about uh, financial functions นะครับ in the second set นะครับ of the financial function. Let's have a look นะครับ So we talked about the n-per function นะครับ that is the number of period that we have to use in order to pay for our investment or pay for the loan นะครับ so this set of functions we still have to use the same old argument, same old set of argument นะครับ that means when n-per is a function, rate, PMT, PV, and FV will be the arguments of n-per function นะครับ for the n-per function we just like use like these arguments to calculate that okay how many times with that we have to pay นะครับ so actually for the number of period that we have to pay will be correspond to like the arguments that we enter. For example, in here you can see that when we talk about when we want to find number of months, that means the interest rate must be the interest rate per month นะครับ when the given information is interest rate per year. Now, for example, in here it's 4% per year. You have to change the rate to be percent per month of the interest by dividing percent per year by 12. Like this one. Same as the unit that we use for the interest rate. The payment will have to be payment per month as well. So, for example, if you say that you would like to find number of months, but the payment they say that okay, we pay 500 per 2 weeks, something like that. You have to change it from 500 per week to be 1,000 per month and use that 1,000 per month as the argument in the calculation as well. And after that, when we talk about the n-per function already, we talk about PV or present value. In this one, I talk about the annuity example. That is one kind of the investment in terms of the interest. That when we find the present value here, same as like other calculation, we have to use the information that correspond to the unit that we use as well. For example, in here we said that okay, interest rate is 5% per year, but we pay 1,000 per month. That means you have to convert the interest rate to be interest rate per month. And over 5 years here, it tells us about the n-per in here. So that means from 5 years, you have to change it to be monthly payment instead. Then you have to multiply 5 years by 12 so that we get number of months that we have to pay. And then when we talk about the rate function is the function to calculate the interest rate. In here, same as like other functions that we have to change, or we have to just like make all of the period to be period per exact amount of time that has been specified in the problem. For example, in here they asked for excuse me, for the monthly interest rate. That means everything has to be per month or months accordingly. For example, number of period for 5 years, you have to change to be number of months. PMT has to be number of months, so that when we calculate everything, the rate will be rate per month. But finally, it depends on what the question asks you. If it asks for the rate per year, if it asks for the rate per year, you can just like calculate for the rate per month first, and then you multiply by 12 to get the interest rate per year. Okay. After that, we talk about the second series of the financial functions. The second series of the financial function talks about the time that related to the payment. So we had the formula นะครับ that I mentioned before we know that every month we pay equally นะครับ so that means PMT will be equal in every single year sorry in every single period นะครับ you have to pay equally for example you will pay $1,000 per month that means um, every month you pay equally $1,000 but actually from $1,000 there that is the PMT or the payment it is like it consists of two parts it comes from IPMT นะครับ and PPMT IPMT is the interest payment นะครับ while PPMT is the principal payment or the payment on principal so when you just like add these two terms together interest and principal of a specific month นะครับ you get the PMT นะครับ you get the payment so that means the proportion of IPMT and PPMT นะครับ will be varied for each month so it will be like this ครับ for I mean like when we talk about if I say that this rectangle represents the payment that you have to pay ครับ you can see that this one you pay equally sorry you pay equally in every single month let's say so for month one suppose we are talking about the what to say the loan นะครับ the loan that you pay when we talk about month one to month end นะครับ all the PMT or all the payments are equal นะครับ but when we talk about the proportion of interest นะครับ the first month that you pay นะครับ majority of the payment will be the interest นะครับ will be the IPMT นะครับ the PPMT is just a little bit only so when the time goes by นะครับ the next period interest payment is less นะครับ while the PPMT or payment on principal is more and finally นะครับ for the end period majority of your payments in the PMT นะครับ goes to the principal wow นะครับ the minority of it is the interest that you pay sorry but anyway when you add IPMT and PPMT together in each period นะครับ they still equal to PMT anyway นะครับ so on the last class we start talking about the first example of IPMT the IPMT นะครับ is different from the first series of function in that we have one more argument นะครับ comes into our consideration นะครับ that argument is what we call per or period นะครับ per or period is the argument that tell us that okay which period that you are interested in for example in this one นะครับ in this diagram I show you for month 1 month 2 and month end that means when we calculate the period or per will be 1 or 2 or n นะครับ to specify difference of the interest or principal in here นะครับ the problem asks us to find the interest payment during month 1 and month 2 นะครับ on a loan of 50,000 okay I'll just like focus on month 1 first okay and then I'll copy the information to month 2 because everything นะครับ for the arguments will be the same except per or period นะครับ okay in here we said that interest payment นะครับ so this one you are asked to find the IPMT นะครับ then we just like put the IPMT function first นะครับ after that okay we said that okay on during month 1 and month 2 so in this one I said that period or per is 1 นะครับ I put 1 first loan of 50,000 นะครับ loan of 50,000 that means it is FV sorry yeah it is P PV or present value when it is a loan นะครับ that means you borrow the money from the bank นะครับ on day one the money is with you so it's PV นะครับ PV is 50,000 in positive because we borrow the money is with you นะครับ so it is positive 50,000 then you want to pay you want it to be paid off นะครับ so it means that future value is 0 because you want to pay it off นะครับ over 5 years นะครับ in this one it said that during month 1 and month 2 that means you pay monthly so when you say that okay you want to pay it off over 5 years you have to change the n per นะครับ from 5 from number of years to be number of months by multiplying 5 by 12 นะครับ you get 60 next นะครับ interest rate 5% per year you have to convert the rate to be interest rate per month as well นะครับ so the rate will be 5% over 12 นะครับ and finally we said that the payment is made at the end of each month นะครับ so the type is 0 after that when we get all of these arguments we formulate นะครับ the IPMT function by providing the arguments like this so in this example you can see that the IPMT นะครับ or the interest payment on month 1 is $208.33 นะครับ after that we copy นะครับ this argument to be on month 2 and change the per to be 2 that is month 2 instead so you can see that when you formulate the IPMT you get $205.27 so you can see that okay in this one when I just like write it down in this box นะครับ let's see the first month นะครับ is $208.83 33 cents sorry while second month นะครับ it is 205.27 นะครับ you can see that the amount นะครับ we consider just only the amount not the negative symbol นะครับ in here have a look second month is and the first month for the interest that you have to pay see that and finally if I try to just like test on month 60 let's see นะครับ if I copy this one and I said that I want to see on month 60 I changed the per to be 60 you can see that it's just like reduced to be $3.92 so you can see that the IPMT in here is 392 นะครับ in here so it's lesser and lesser นะครับ in each month when you pay the interest but anyway on the very beginning if it is the payment นะครับ due for the loan นะครับ the what to say the interest นะครับ will be the maximum one on month 1 นะครับ this one will be opposite to the investment นะครับ if it is the investment the very first period goes to the amount of the principal นะครับ you still get like the interest just a little bit but when the time goes by when you invest in more months นะครับ the proportion of the interest will be more and more that you will see in the next example นะครับ okay right okay for this example do you have any questions ครับ anyone if you don't have any questions for this example นะครับ let me just like continue with the second example that I would like you to do it by yourself นะครับ okay so this example นะครับ is the example to find interest payment นะครับ from the investment in this one นะครับ I would like you to find out the interest payment during quarters 1 and quarters 2 นะครับ by yourself I give you 5 minutes นะครับ to find out the interest นะครับ from this example ครับ everyone so please do it by yourself นะครับ 5 minutes and if you get the answer นะครับ for quarter 1 and quarter 2 already you can type it on the chat box นะครับ so that you can just like see นะครับ and compare with your classmates นะครับ and everyone please write the answer as for everyone in the meeting room นะครับ not private to me นะครับ so that you can just like compare with like other people answer ครับ so I think that it is early morning so you still haven't warmed up yet นะครับ so that's okay we just like do another warm up in the next example in the next function then so in this problem นะครับ you asked to find the interest payment during quarter 1 and quarter 2 so that means you asked to find the IPMT นะครับ for the interest payment in this one okay I copy this list of the argument first for the IPMT that we have to find after that นะครับ I put quarter 1 and quarter 2 นะครับ in here so now I'm focusing on quarter 1 first we are asked to find the interest payment during quarter 1 and quarter 2 into an investment นะครับ current value or present value is 0 นะครับ period 1 is quarter 1 okay which is required to reach 5,000 so that means in the future we want 5,000 นะครับ so future value is positive 5,000 because we want themนะครับ okay then we want to reach 5,000 in over 2 years that means in 2 years how many quarters are there we have to find and put it in the end per so it is 2 years times each year has 4 quarters okay so let me just like type quarters okay right okay and after that we said that we the interest rate is 3.5% per year we have to change it to be per quarter by dividing 3.5% by 4 นะครับ to be interest rate per quarter and type นะครับ we said that the payment is made at the start of each quarter type is 1 okay so now the IPMT for quarter 1 is this นะครับ rate per N per PV FV sorry and type this one นะครับ I want you to be careful if you use the function argument นะครับ provided นะครับ into the function argument box like this be careful นะครับ that function argument box can show 5 arguments at a time and if you have like another argument especially for this example นะครับ you can see that type is the last argument if you don't scroll นะครับ you will put type sorry you will not put the type in so when you don't put the type in what does it mean it goes to the default value instead that means if you omit นะครับ that argument IPMT assumes that you have the payment at the end of the period that is wrong this one we want to pay at the start of each quarter นะครับ that is not what we want so don't forget that okay you have to check on the right hand side นะครับ that if the scroll bar happen to you นะครับ if the scroll bar happen to you in here you have to scroll down otherwise you may miss some of the arguments นะครับ in here so in this one you can see that the IPMT is 0 นะครับ I think this might be the reason why นะครับ some of you didn't answer me beforehand and you try to just like fix the problem first นะครับ actually $0 for the interest payment is not wrong นะครับ if you want to check whether it's correct or not you try on the next quarter and see what happened you can see that now for quarter 2 the interest payment goes to $5.26 นะครับ okay now I want to try on quarter number 8 นะครับ quarter number 8 okay, let's see if I change per to be period 8 you can see that the interest payment for quarter 8 is 37.78 นะครับ that is the maximum interest that you receive in each quarter already because if you try to say that okay let's try quarter 9 what will happen if you try on quarter 9 it causes the error immediately นะครับ hash num exclamation mark here means that it's the error about the number. The number here means that okay there must be a number นะครับ in one of the arguments in this function has the error and we found that is here number 9. The reason is because we say that our period we would like to pay in 8 quarters only นะครับ n per is 8 so the maximum per must be 8 นะครับ that means we don't have no more quarter 9 we pay just like in 2 years only quarter 9 is over 2 years already so that's why it caused the error okay now let's see this picture is a bit different from the picture in the proportion of IPMT and PPMT of the what to say of the loan นะครับ now we talk about the payment นะครับ in term of the investment let's see นะครับ okay. if I'm talking about นะครับ these 3 quarters นะครับ in blue color นะครับ you can see that the first proportion sorry the first quarter นะครับ the first quarter is like this you can see that for the proportion นะครับ the first quarter นะครับ the total amount นะครับ are just PPMT only นะครับ while IPMT here is 0 means that when you save the money นะครับ for the investment for the first time you don't have any interest yet นะครับ but when you start saving more or invest more in the second month นะครับ the IPMT is a bit increasing นะครับ and when the time goes by นะครับ when the time goes by นะครับ for the last quarter the interest that you will receive นะครับ that you will receive is more okay so you can see that the proportion นะครับ the proportion of the interest and the principal is switched from the loan นะครับ is opposite way from the loan okay let me just like type here this is investments นะครับ this is the loan okay. the proportion are just like opposite way around okay so are there any questions about the IPMT from the example that you did by yourself okay now let me just like see yeah you get like 526 yeah that's correct ครับ okay so you have to be careful นะครับ if it is 526 0 and 526 นะครับ in here they are positive you put the value in the positive numbers like this is okay but when you calculate for the IPMT from the what to say loan นะครับ okay IPMT if it is negative you have to enter negative values นะครับ for เศรษฐนันท์นะครับ you have to be careful about the unit a bit นะครับ it is dollars นะครับ not percent นะครับ not percent it is dollars okay in here so if you don't have any questions about this example นะครับ let's move on to the next function that is PPMT นะครับ that is like the function that we just like always use it together with the IPMT นะครับ so for the PPMT นะครับ is the payment on principal นะครับ or principal payments นะครับ okay let's see the syntax of the PPMT function นะครับ the PPMT function นะครับ is the function that returns the payment on the principal for a given investment based on periodic constant payments and constant interest rates นะครับ we use the same assumption as like others นะครับ okay so for PPMT we use นะครับ the same set of arguments นะครับ I can tell you that in here we use absolutely the same order of arguments as we use in the IPMT นะครับ starting from rate per N per PV FV at type นะครับ while per is an extra argument that tell us about like which period that you are focusing in นะครับ okay right okay in this one we will begin with the first example for the PPMT นะครับ for the PPMT so in this one you are asked to find the payments on principal นะครับ during month 1 and month 2 so นะครับ I just like put the argument list of the PPMT first นะครับ and then we want to find the PPMT of month 1 นะครับ and month 2 okay this one is PPMT okay so now let's formulate it the first one นะครับ this case is the loan of 50,000 นะครับ so that means on day 1 you have the money with you $5,000 I put present value 5,000 in here I'm focusing in what to say month 1 only นะครับ and then I'll copy it into month 2 position and change just the period to be period 2 only okay. So next we said that okay we want to pay it off in 5 years so FV is 0 interest rate 5% okay we have to make it to be percent per month นะครับ in here นะครับ rate is 5% divided by 12 นะครับ to get percent per month after that นะครับ the interest rate 5% per year นะครับ we want to pay it off over 5 years นะครับ that means we have to just find number of months that is 5 times 12 นะครับ that is 60 months per for month 1 is 1 นะครับ type payment made at the end of the month is 0 นะครับ and then we formulate this PPMT so when we formulate the PPMT here นะครับ just like enter all of the arguments rate per N per PV FV and type you can see that the intermediate result here is showing as negative 73.52 so in here that means on month 1 the principal payment is 73.52 now let me just like do the same thing with month 2 นะครับ so on month 2 นะครับ the PPMT is 73.83 นะครับ okay 50,000 sorry ครับ thanks นะครับลักษยา it is 50,000 not 5,000 I put the wrong number. Okay, in here we get 735.23 on month 1 and 738.29 on month 2 in here. So let me just like enter the data here นะครับ I put the sign too so that we know that it is paying out. Okay. If we try on month 60 นะครับ okay. It will be 939.65 นะครับ in here. Okay, here นะครับ so these are the principal payments or payments on principal of each month that we have to pay for the loan. Okay, now for this example, do you have any questions? Come, anyone? If there is no question นะครับ I want you to do example number 2 by yourself นะครับ In example number 2, this is the payment on principal นะครับ that we have to find the payment on principal for the investment นะครับ for quarter 1 and quarter 2. Okay, for this one, I give you 5 minutes นะครับ Please find the payments on the principal on this case นะครับ of quarter 1 and quarter 2 for me. And if you get the answer already, please share your answer in the chat box นะครับ so that everyone can see it. You can start now ครับ
Professor, can you send this?
I'm sorry, what do you say?
Can you send Excel to payment on the principal during character 1 and 2? I don't have it.
Oh, hang on, I'm sorry. This one I just like copy the wrong example here. Okay, so some of you asked me about the records of the video นะครับ on last week's lecture นะครับ I got like some problem a bit about the video posting นะครับ then I'll try to repost it again tonight นะครับ because the one that I just like uploaded it was like it had like some mistakes and damage. Then I have to check on my original one and just like re-edit it once again นะครับ okay. Oh, and by the way นะครับ for this coming Wednesday นะครับ as I mentioned on the last week that on this coming Wednesday I have to go to the hospital นะครับ so I have to cancel the class unfortunately นะครับ and for the makeup class I will check on the Google form that you send it to me so that I can arrange the makeup class นะครับ but I will have to just like let you know beforehand นะครับ so the channel to communicate นะครับ before we meet each other again นะครับ will be on line group นะครับ so that you will see for date and time in case that we need to have the makeup class นะครับ and also I post on Sky class as well นะครับ there will be 2 channels นะครับ if we have the makeup class but I think I better just like let you know first before we do that okay right okay in this one okay there are like lots of you who answer to me already นะครับ first quarter 685 second quarter นะครับ 606.11 yeah so it seems like you answer in the similar way นะครับ okay favorite it is a bit different from other people นะครับ okay it seems like your one นะครับ your quarter one is 606.11 that is like other people quarter twos นะครับ okay now let's see นะครับ in this one for the question in here นะครับ you ask to find the ppmt right okay from quarter one and quarter two in here นะครับ we say that payments on principal นะครับ during quarter one quarter two into investment with the current value is 0 นะครับ PV is 0 per is 1 for quarter one okay required to reach 5,000 นะครับ required to reach 5,000 that is FV นะครับ 5,000 positive because you want to receive 5,000 in the next 2 years okay so it must be positive 5,000 over 2 years 2 years in here means that number of period is 2 years times 4 นะครับ that is 8 quarters okay. so rate must be rate per quarters as well so interest rate is 3.5% it is 3.5% over 4 นะครับ you get the interest rate per quarter and payment made at the beginning of each quarter นะครับ it is 1 so we formulate the ppmt okay so you can see that the first quarter นะครับ on the first quarter you have to pay นะครับ 685 นะครับ $600.85 นะครับ as the principal payment next นะครับ for quarter two I copy this one sorry and change quarter to be quarter two so in quarter two it is $600.06 $606.11 นะครับ that are just like the paying out so they are like the negative values right in this one okay let me just like write it down in the box that I provided okay and for the last quarter if it is quarter 8 it is 638.63 so what I want to tell you this one actually for all the questions that I prepare for you นะครับ they are related นะครับ from example 1 นะครับ in most of the problems most of the example that I give to you they are the same case นะครับ they are most of them are the same case so now let me just like go back to the IPMT a bit in IPMT นะครับ same thing นะครับ the duration is month and the loan is 50,000 interest rate is 5% absolutely are the same as like the PPMT case one so in this one let me write down the IPMT นะครับ on each month first because I just like accidentally rub it out before this 208.33 second month 527 and on month 60 this is month 60, sorry, it is 392. In the case of the example number 2 นะครับ, that is the investment, right? Okay, let me just write down the information. Quarter 1 IPMT is 0. Quarter 2 it's 526. And the quarter number 8 is 3778. Okay. So now, what would I like you to see นะครับ in this one? Let me just like add some numbers for you. Okay, in this one นะครับ in the red boxes นะครับ in example number 1 in here, if I add นะครับ 208.33 with 735.23 in here, I better just put negative symbol too. Okay, so in this one นะครับ you can see that on the first case you get the number นะครับ negative 943.56 นะครับ wow, the month 2 นะครับ let's see, I do it again. It is 205.27 plus 738.29. You can see that I get 943.56. For the last month นะครับ month 60, I get 392 plus 939.65. I get 943.57 นะครับ similar because it's a bit rounding นะครับ it's negative 943.56 as well. Okay, now for the second example here, if we have added นะครับ numbers together นะครับ the first quarter 685 นะครับ, plus 0 is 685. Second one นะครับ I get 526 plus 606.11. I get 611.37. And lastly นะครับ quarter 8 I get 3778 plus 638.63. On this one I get like something wrong a bit. IPMT 526. Okay, let me just like do this one. Let me just see this one a bit. Oh, it must be minus because in this one, the IPMT is the positive one. Okay. It is positive นะครับ so that means on quarter 1, it is 685 นะครับ plus 0. Sorry. On the second quarter, 606.11 plus 5, sorry, negative 606.11 plus 526. Yeah, it is negative 685 นะครับ and for the last quarter นะครับ negative 638 63 plus 37 78นะครับ this one you get 685 นะครับ okay now because for the investment นะครับ interest is the incoming interest you can see that because it's positive is different from the loan because for the loan the IPMT is negative because you have to pay the money to the bank while investment it is positive because the bank has to pay what to say the bank has to pay the interest to you นะครับ so that's why you get the positive numbers okay let me just like enter this one นะครับ first it is negative 685 okay right so what would I want you to see if you scroll up นะครับ to the very beginning example นะครับ that we studied at the very beginning นะครับ financial function that is PMT you can see that the amount of PMT นะครับ is the same case it's 943.56 นะครับ so from this example you can see that total payment is $943.56 นะครับ that comes into like the proportion of PMT นะครับ sorry IPMT and PPMT differently according to the months นะครับ and let's see for second example this is the investment นะครับ the payment that you have to pay is $600.85 นะครับ that comes into the proportion of the interest payment นะครับ and the principal payment differently นะครับ in each quarter as well นะครับ okay right so these are just like the financial functions in set 1 and set 2 that you can see the interrelatedness among these functions นะครับ when we apply the same examples to these functions right okay then นะครับ do you have any questions about these financial functions set 1 and set 2 that we studied okay so if you don't have any questions นะครับ let's move on to the next function that is in the third series or the third set of this financial function นะครับ the group 3 or the third set of financial function is IRR function นะครับ that is just like need different argument from these first two groups นะครับ and the usage of the IRR function is different from these two group of functions as well นะครับ okay for the IRR it means internal rate of returns นะครับ internal rate of returns let's see นะครับ for the IRR what is it นะครับ and what is the IRR function used for นะครับ let me clear out the screen first okay so this one นะครับ let's see the IRR function for the IRR function here นะครับ when we just like go to search for IRR function นะครับ in here IRR นะครับreturns the internal rate of return for a series of cash flows นะครับ so it means that when we talk about internal rate of return normally we use in order to make decision นะครับ for doing something with the business for example should we what to say invest in this business or should we take over this business or not นะครับ considering the cash flow of the considering the cash flow of this business นะครับ IRR need just like actually it needs just the values นะครับ only นะครับ for the guess นะครับ it's the same purpose as the guess argument that we had before นะครับ it help Excel to run faster in case that you have let's say lots of IRR sales to be calculated นะครับ but I mean like in this example นะครับ that I'll give it to you for the IRR นะครับ there is just like one cell to calculate IRR only from the series of cash flows that we have got นะครับ okay let me just like give you the example for the IRR นะครับ for a company นะครับ assume that a company has the investment like this นะครับ it has the information like this. Let me type this one in the chat box for you. Just use one column to copy at a time, because if I just copy 2 columns in the chat box นะครับ you have to separate the number by yourself. Okay. Here. I'm sorry for the dollar sign. Let me just like remove it out first. Let me type it again. Okay. So assume that นะครับ this one it is the unit of $1 million นะครับ I multiply this each one with the 1 million first. Okay, assume that the income for each year is like this. Okay, now let's have a look นะครับ what do I want you to see? Whenever you have to calculate internal rate of returns นะครับ you need to have a cash flow นะครับ for the investment and for the income that we have got นะครับ before we calculate. For sure, the initial investment นะครับ is the money that you invest. It is negative values because you pay out your money นะครับ for the initial investment, while the income is the money that you receive back from doing the business. It is positive numbers นะครับ in this case นะครับ more or less depends on each year. So when we get the series of the cash flow from the initial investment to the income of the company like this already, you can see that if you just consider นะครับ if you just consider the money that you have seen in the series of the cash flow like this, you never know that okay, in which year that you should just like take over this business, or is this business good or not, because you can see that if you have a look on the income, all of them are positive number, 20 million, 24 million, 28.8 million. But how can you see that okay, the which year นะครับ that should be just like good year in order to invest in this company or take over this company or buy the stock of this company นะครับ normally นะครับ approximately some of the finance people, they said that okay, if the IRR is the positive numbers and it's just like 10% or above, it should be a good time for that company นะครับ. That means, I mean, like if the company, when it runs for a while and it has like the IRR นะครับ to be like positive 10% and above นะครับ continuously, that means the company is okay for in terms of the IRR นะครับ internal rate of returns, because for the returns that they receive นะครับ it's just like increasing like quite stable นะครับ. Now let's see, in order to calculate the IRR นะครับ we just like specify which year that you want to know นะครับ. So in this case, I just like want to find out, because I mean like when the company is just like starting, I don't know anything much, but after 3 years you start seeing the trend of the company already. So that means I'll just like find the IRR after 3 years and see what happened. Okay, so when you would like to find the IRR after 3 years of this series of cash flow นะครับ you just go to use a function IRR นะครับ then I click OK. So for the IRR here นะครับ, I just like use the cash flow from initial investment to year 3. In this case, I get the 175 to the 178 of mine. You can see that the formula result right now นะครับ or the intermediate result is showing negative 0.13. The unit of the IRR is percent นะครับ. So this one means it's negative 13.62% นะครับ or 14% approximately. Then I add the decimal points too. Okay. For guess นะครับ I don't put it because guess here is like we provide the guess value when we know or when we just like have the result of the IRR that we know before นะครับ if you don't put it put just like 10% นะครับ if you omit so okay in this one because we don't know anything we just like leave the guess value as blank so that it will be omitted and then inside Excel it will be calculated by guessing start from 10% in positive first and after that if 10% is not correct it just like reduce นะครับ and increase until it gets like the number that match with the IRR functions calculation and in this one it shows you negative 13.6%. In this case, what does it mean? It means that the IRR of this company after 3 years, it's still negative values. So it means that if the company would like to promote the company to let the shareholders นะครับ to invest more or to just like sell this business to other people นะครับ it might not be a good time because like other people นะครับ or the investors might think that okay this company still get like negative 13% for the IRR it might not be the time to invest for this company so let's see which year that should be good now let's see นะครับ if I just like find the IRR again but this time it's the IRR after 5 years นะครับ to see what happened in this one I do the same thing I find the IRR นะครับ from the initial investment to year 5 income you can see that right now นะครับ the formula result is showing positive 13 นะครับ 0.05% นะครับ or 0.1305% in here นะครับ so now you can see that it becomes positive already นะครับ and the IRR is just like 13% that means if you just like would like to promote your company นะครับ for like the investors or for selling this business นะครับ after 5 years it should be good when other people just ask you when people ask you that what is the IRR นะครับ you can tell them that oh my company นะครับ has the IRR for 13.06% after 5 years so everyone knows it's a standard number นะครับ now let's see if I have 4th year นะครับ after 4 year what will happen sorry after 4 years should it be the time for the investors or not after 4 years it's just 2.66% if you remember I told you that the time that it should be good นะครับ is that when IRR is 10% นะครับ in positive นะครับ positive 10% or above so that means even on the after 4 year it is not a good time นะครับ to invest more in this company but after 5 years it is okay now because it's become the positive numbers already นะครับ so this is the IRR it's just like the numbers นะครับ one factor that when you have to invest นะครับ or when you would like to buy some business นะครับ that they have been running for a while this is one factor that you have to see นะครับ that okay whether the IRR is greater than 10% or not นะครับ but I mean like for some business it doesn't mean when the business just has been running for 1 or 2 years and the IRR are still the negative numbers but some of the investor they still like invest นะครับ in that business anyway if they see the possibility in order to increase or the growth of this company they may say that okay they want to just like invest in this business because for example if they say that okay from year 3 and year 4 you can see that the IRR has been increasing quite a lot as well because if you see the trend of the IRR if you add these two IRR together it's more than 10% in each year that IRR can be stepped up นะครับ from negative 13 to be positive 2% something like that. So some investor might just like see the changes in the IRR like this. But in here, after 5th year, you might tell them about the trend of the IRR as well. That okay, at the current stage, our business has the IRR for 13.06%, and we have like approximately 10% in difference, increasing in every year for the IRR, right? Okay, so and this is the IRR. That is the third group of the financial functions that you have to know, right? Okay, then everyone up to this point, do you have any question for the financial functions ครับ Okay, if you don't have any questions นะครับ let's move on to the next set of functions that you should know นะครับ in this one I would like you to create a new sheet นะครับ just click create new sheet ครับ everyone and name this sheet as if and nested if นะครับ if and nested if in this series of the functions I would like to talk about the logic นะครับ that we should know นะครับ the logic is the way that we use to make a decision นะครับ to give the decision to be yes or no นะครับ if you have the provided information for using the logic นะครับ or to find the logic of the fact or the data that you have got normally นะครับ we use the function that is if function to help นะครับ and we just combine some like other related functions together with if นะครับ and when the if function comes in term of just like the logic นะครับ or testing for the logic when you have lots of conditions นะครับ we call them as nested if นะครับ because we have if and if and if inside the same cell นะครับ for finding the logic of that data นะครับ I'll talk it about in details when we reach the details of that nested if นะครับ but let's talk about the first function first นะครับ when we talk about if function นะครับ okay we have if and or and not นะครับ the main function is if นะครับ we'll learn about the if function first okay while and or not are just like the operators that we just like use to join some fact together นะครับ or switch some of the fact to be true or false, something like that. So when we talk about the logic in here to let Excel to make a decision นะครับ by using if we have two possible facts นะครับ that is true or false นะครับ that is true or false let's see นะครับ when we talk about the if function I just want you to see the syntax of the if first นะครับ before I just like go down deeper นะครับ into the if function when we go to search an if function นะครับ in here if for the if function it needs to have 3 arguments นะครับ for the if function นะครับ if function will check whether a condition is met and returns one value if true another value if false นะครับ so in this function it has 3 arguments together นะครับ the first argument is called logical test นะครับ is the logical test logical test is a condition นะครับ we have to test according to the condition that we have นะครับ and when the result นะครับ match with your condition here it will display นะครับ the value if true so the value if true here can be นะครับ a lot of things can be numbers can be text can be another condition or another if inside as well นะครับ if value if false means that if the condition in the logical test is not met that means if it's wrong นะครับ it shows something for you for example it show some numbers some text or some calculation นะครับ that is the if function with the 3 arguments that we have got. So when we talk about the if function, okay, let me just talk about one first example. For the first example, we say that okay, if the student score is more than 90, we give a grade. Okay, in this one, suppose I have the student score like this. And we would like to justify the grade here. Suppose a student get 90, 90, okay. The grade that we should give, sorry. Okay, let me just do this. Let me change the fact a bit. We give S grade. Suppose we just have S and U instead. Okay, here. So just begin with the easy example first. Let me just change the problem a bit. Okay, we give S grade. Otherwise, okay, let's just put this first. Give S grade first. Okay, so in this one, that means if the student score is 90, that person will get S for sure. Okay, so now let's see what are we going to do. So in this one, let's see for the if function. First part, we need to have logical tests. Logical tests is the comparison. Normally in if function is the comparison. Compare what? In this case, you can see that the condition here said that if the score is more than 60, we have to know that where is the score located. This example, we know that the score is located in the cell B6, right? In the cell B6. Then we have to compare B6 with 60, because we said that if the score is more than 60, and more than, we have to change from the word more than to be the comparison symbol or the logical operator. In here, more than, we use greater than symbol. We use greater than symbol. So in here, the things that we have to formulate the logical test is that we have to test B6 greater than 60. This is the condition that we have to check. This is student score is more than 60. And after that, we give S grade. If you would like to display S as a grade, you have to put double quotes because S is the text. We have to put S in the quote, double quote like this. So in this one, we may put the function if from this information. We say that okay. For the if function here, logical test, we enter B6 equals to, sorry, B6 greater than 60. If value if true, we put double quote S. Now we have to know as well that if the value is not true or if it's false, what should we do? If we don't enter anything, if we don't enter anything, we click OK. So you can see that right now. Sorry, I do it again. I put if logical test B6 is greater than 60, grade is S. I click OK. You can see that right now, this person get S. This person get S for the grade. But if I put 40, you can see that for a person who get 40, it will show false. What does it mean? You can see that in here, because value is false, you don't enter anything. That's why when you don't enter anything in the value is false, it shows false for you as a result, because you have to know that the logical value normally if function when it's performed it shows two possible values, true or false. Now you say that if it's true you want to show S, but if it's false you don't say anything. That's why if function try to show the answer of this condition for you that it is false, when it is false in the action, when you see that is false, that means you know, oh, I forget to enter the value for false, then you fix that problem. It's better than it shows nothing. When it shows nothing, you don't know whether you have any functions in that cell or not. So that's why you better just find out the fact that if that person doesn't get more than 60, what should we do? In this one, if you find the fact, we found that okay, when the student grade is not more than 60, we get U instead. Say that otherwise, give U. Okay, in here, you can see that we just go to fix our if function value is false, we give U instead. Okay, so you can see that this person get U instead of S, because we said that okay, the person will have S when that person get more than 60. The important thing for the if function apart from the value if true, value if false is the condition, because for the logical operator that is very important whenever you have to translate from the real world problem into the if function. For example, if we are talking about the grade of the student, when we are talking about the grade of the student, in order to get, for S and U grade, normally the S grade is greater than or equal to 60. Suppose you say that if the score is from 60 and above, like this. So in this one, the condition has to be changed immediately. From equals to, from more than 60. This one, when we say that it's from 60 and above, we have to change from the if function in order to check the logical test must be changed from equal to 60 to be equal, from more than 60 to be more than or equals to 60, like this. So there are just like a couple of the logical operators that you can use in the logical test. First, it is equals to. You just put equal sign. For example, if B6 equals to 60, you just enter B6 equals to 60 like this. Okay. Next logical operator is greater than. Next is greater than or equals to. Next is less than or equals to. Okay. And not equals to, you use this symbol unequal to. Less than and greater than together. These are just like logical operators that we use in order to calculate this. Okay. Right. So for the comparison, we can also compare the text as well. For example, if we say that, okay, if the student name is Jane, give 1 to her attendance score. Okay. Okay. So in this one, okay, we will put the name of the student in the box, B10. And we will put the attendance score in the box or in the cell D10. In this one, because we have just like the value if true only, otherwise we say that we give 0. Sorry, give 0. Okay, right. In this example, I would like you to try by yourself. Try to just enter the name of a student in here, and then just show the attendance score. Okay, let me just like type the name. Okay, so I want you to just like try on these two cells, James and Jane, and just like enter the attendance score, for these two persons. Natagrita, you fixed the problem already, right?
Yes ค่ะอาจารย์
Okay. Okay ครับ so right now everyone just try to enter the formula for each function to find the attendance score for James and Jane for James and Jane. I give you 5 minutes to do this one. Okay, time's up everyone. So in this one okay, let me see. No one just show me the answer yet. Okay, now let's see for this one. We have to analyze this one first. So you can see that in this one, we say that, okay, we have to check the student name. Student name is located in the cell B10, right? So we have to compare B10 with Jane, okay? And if we check already that B10 is Jane, then we just like show number 1 to the attendance score that is in D10, in D10, cell D10 here. So we just put here, we put each function, logical test, we test cell B10 equals to double quote Jane. We just compare like this as I told you, the comparison or the logical operator we have equals to, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, and not equal. This one we want to check with Jane, so we have to use equal sign. B10 equals to Jane, and Jane is a text, then we have to put double quote. Value if true, we just put number 1 in the attendance score. Otherwise we put 0 if that person is not Jane. So right now you can see that when we have this, the first person is James, he is not Jane, so his attendance score should be 0. Now let me copy this formula to the next cell. It is B11. Check with Jane again. This person get 1 because this person is Jane in here. So it means that, okay, we get B11 equals to Jane or not. If yes, we give 1. Otherwise we give 0. We give 0. Okay. So in this one, let me just copy the formula to you. When you just like use this function for a while, you'll be familiar with just typing the function by yourself, then just use the formula box, insert function box in order to help you, because whenever the condition is more complicated, by using that insert function button, it be confusing. So that's why we just like we may just type the function by ourselves. Okay, right. Okay, for this example, if you copy this formula into your cell already, don't forget to change the location because on my one is B11, but for yours it might be other cells instead. for the formula that you just like copy into your cell already, if you just like click FX button, it just like still show you the function argument box for you anyway นะครับ right okay then นะครับ up to this point do you have any questions กับ anyone if you don't have any questions นะครับ before we finish the class นะครับ I just want to show you that we have the we start having the assignments นะครับ okay the assignment I post it to you is on e-learning นะครับ let me share my e-learning screen to you and then you can just like have a look later นะครับ okay for this one just have a look นะครับ for the e-learning you see hang on let me just like fix this one I forgot to hide the solution for you now okay right okay นะครับ let's have a look for this one when you just like see the exercise นะครับ now we have 5 exercise นะครับ that I would like you to do it actually the submission is just like long from now it's another 2 weeks after this นะครับ on next Saturday นะครับ will be the due date so I want you to do these 5 exercises นะครับ from the basic knowledge that we have got นะครับ some of the exercises you can start doing already นะครับ but for some of them นะครับ especially for the if function you may just like do the basic one but for some other functions for example if we are talking about exercise 4 and 5 in this one we talk about like the financial function that you can find so I want you to just like start doing exercise 4 นะครับ as well as exercise 5 now you can just like do it นะครับ right and then if you finish you may just like submit some exercises that you finished before นะครับ otherwise you can wait until you can just like understand all for exercise number 1 2 and 3 before you just like compile all of them to submit it to me นะครับ so the due date will be on next Saturday นะครับ before midnight นะครับ submit Excel yes ครับ you have to submit the Excel just read the instruction I tell you how to just like submit นะครับ when you submit not just like the answer yes no or $500 no นะครับ submit the whole Excel because I have to just like check for your formula as well that you use okay